Hi, this is Ken from the DawgHouse, and we're very fortunate to have number 32 Road Race Factory Red Bull Superstock 1000. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it, all the time? Rider and points leader, Jake Gagne. Jake, so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, always good to talk to you guys. It's been a while, so happy that you guys are here at Barber in the heat and we can chat it out.
Yeah, I guess it's probably a lot hotter for us than you, since you just took the leathers off, but... So how are you finding the track right now? It is kind of weird conditions out here. We're seeing like a little bit of rain now and then. Humidity's pretty high. Temperatures seem to be going pretty good. Track, obviously, track temperatures got to be going up a lot this afternoon. How does that affect you on your 1000?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables here. You know, we've seen it sprinkle a few times already today, but luckily it's so hot here that the track's been drying out super quick. It sprinkled a little earlier. It even sprinkled a little bit during our session, but not even enough to get the track wet. So. Yeah, there's a lot of variables thrown at us here, but it's definitely a hot one. It's going to be a hot one this weekend, but at least it looks like it might be dry, so that's good.
You know, this series with you guys running with the Superbikes is a lot for American viewers is kind of different. It's not something that they're really used to, but it is something that we see on the world scene a lot. So, fortunately, Wayne was smart enough to think that, hey, look, why don't we do something like this? It seems like that works well. And plays into sort of the way that the rest of the world does a lot of their Superbike and Superstock racing in there. How does it feel to you? I mean, you've raced in a lot of different classes now. This was something new for you. How's that been?
I think it's awesome. Like you said, I think Moto America has tried to follow the path that we see overseas in Europe and stuff like that. And I think it's cool. I mean, I'm on a Superstock bike and I get to go out there and race with the Superbike. So for me, it's always nice having them up there, and it's always kind of like a carrot to chase, and there's always somebody, plenty of guys going fast. So for me, it's always awesome to have them to chase them down, and it helps me out, that's for sure. It gives me a little bit more motivation. And
well, I think it's one of the things I think is really impressive to the fans is that you initially kind of look at it and think, oh wow, the Superbikes can be out there with the Superstock guys, and they're not gonna really be competitive. But it's amazingly how competitive you are with the Superbikes. So I think that's really good to the fan. It's much more competitive and interesting racing, and you're right, it does give you something to shoot for, but yet there's great racing going on in your class right now. Unfortunately, you are leading the class right now. So does that put a little pressure on you? I think people have pretty high expectations of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel any pressure, just the pressure and the expectations I put on myself, I guess. I want to do good for myself and my team, but that's all I can do is go out there and ride my best. And yeah, like, it's awesome. We get to, like we said, we get to race with the Superbikes, put on a good show. It's more bikes on the grid, so that's always awesome. And yeah, more bikes out there doing battle for the fans.
So, I have to, we actually had a racer, and I guess I should probably, give him credit, since we gave him such a hard time last year in Moto 2. So everybody knows who I'm talking about. But he actually gave us, so I'm not mentioning names, so I didn't do a name drop thing, but he said, okay, ask different kinds of questions. He's going to be an interviewer someday, because he's actually really good at this. And he said one of the things we should ask you guys is, like, what do you do when you're not racing?
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I live in San Diego, so I spend a lot of my time surfing. I surf a lot and riding a lot of motocross. I grew up riding motocross, so that's kind of my main way to train to get out here to the road race bike. Usually put in a few motos a couple times a week and surf, do a little fishing, a little bit of everything, just have fun and have a good time in between races until we get out to go do our real job out here.
Well, it seems to be working for you. Anyways, Jake, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. I know we're all pulling for you. You stay safe out there on the track and have fun. And it's clear that you are having fun, so we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Always talking to you guys.
Hey, this is Phil with the DawgHouse. We're here with JD Beach. JD Beach, we've never had you on the show, and I've always wanted you on the show because, to me, you're that rider that will ride anything, any place, anytime. I shot my mouth off last week on last week's show, and I picked you as my favorite to win the first ever U.S. Super Prestigio. I don't even know if you're going yet, but I'm like, it's a race about flat track racing, and they're going to bring motocross guys and road racing guys, and you're my favorite. What do you think? Are you going to try and get in on that, and are you going to win it for me so I don't look stupid?
Well, right now I actually don't even know if I'm going to be doing it. I haven't been because you have to be invited to do it, and I haven't been invited, and it's in November towards the end, so I don't really know what my plans are yet for that time of the year. So I'm kind of just waiting to see how this season goes, and probably make some plans after.
Well, I'm going to start already a whole Twitter hashtag thing about getting you invited, because to me, you're the one racer that I watch in all the series. We follow motocross, we follow flat track, and you're the one, and you know, road racing and stuff. And you're the one guy who I said, that's the kid that will go out and do whatever. If it's got two wheels, you look like you really enjoy just racing on two wheels.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just love riding a bike. I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm road racing, dirt tracking, riding supermoto. I mean, I just love racing, and it's a sport that I've grown to love a lot, and like I said, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of bike it is. I mean, as long as it's got two wheels and goes, it's fun.
And that's exactly what it looks like. That's how you come off on TV and all that stuff. It is hot here in Alabama. I'm not going to take too much more of his time. Well, what do you think of the track conditions with the temperatures? They're talking rain coming and going. Well, what's that going to be like for you this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to make it really hard, just because like in our first session, it rained before it, and the whole back side of the track was completely wet, and then the front side was dry. So like, you can't really run rain tires because it's too dry, but it was too wet for slicks. So it's gonna make it really hard on the teams this weekend to try and figure out what to run. And but I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and this track is awesome, and it seems like there's a lot of people out here watching. So I think it's gonna be a good hot weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you very much for your time, man. It was a pleasure, and back me up at the Super Prestigio.
I'm gonna try to.
All right, folks, welcome back. So we have the distinct pleasure of speaking to Mr. Roger Hayden, Yoshimura Suzuki, number 95, right? Number 95. And well, the first question I was going to ask you, Roger, was, and I won't ask you now because something changed today. I was going to say, what's it going to take for you to break up those Yamaha guys at the front? And it seems like in qualifying, you did just that.
Yeah, you know, I really went for it in qualifying, and you know, nobody wants to beat those Yamahas as bad as I do, so it's nice to break that up. But still, you know, it was only qualifying. The race is what counts. But our bike's working pretty good, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
So at this, what do you see, you know, about this particular track that you think gives you an advantage on your bike? Because unless you found some speed some other way, your team found some speed on the bike or something, clearly you have a comfort level at this track that enabled you to push things pretty hard. Where do you think on this track, that bike, and you know, with your abilities, you know, what parts of the track you feel like you have an advantage over the Yamahas?
I feel like my advantage over those guys is our bike is really, really stable. So as you drive up the hill, like turn 3, you know, their bike looks a little unstable. And then also at the end of the back straightaway on top of that hill, their bike's seems a little unstable there, and that's where mine seems to be pretty good. But you know, it's definitely tough, and you know, I'm giving it all I got. It's not easy to hang with those guys, but our bike works pretty good, and it's really stable in the brakes. So you know, there's a few areas where ours is a little better, and you know, also I've done pretty good at this track before in the past, so I think that helps a lot as well.
What would be your favorite track on the schedule this year?
You know, that's a really good question. I really like Salt Lake City for some reason, or I used to. But if I go there and I'm struggling, then it's not going to be won't be my favorite. And if I get a win tomorrow, Barber will be my favorite track of the year.
Good answer. Good answer. So, has anything changed, or were you just think you were pushing a little harder? Because you seem like you had a little more speed today.
Well, the guys, they, you know, I spent a lot of time looking at data and stuff like that with my crew. And, you know, it paid off today. You know, yesterday we knew we were about a half a second off, and I knew I wasn't riding great, you know. And, you know, I told the guys, you find me a couple tenths, I'll find a couple tenths, and we'll be there. And We made the bike better in a couple places. The front end seemed like it was riding a little high in a few areas, making it hard to turn. And let's say turn 2, the bowl corner, and then I was riding a little harder. So you know, it was a combination of the team and myself, and found a little bit more speed.
Does the heat? It's very hot here. We had like track temperatures in the 130s. Does that help you or does that hurt you?
You know, I think it might help a little bit because our bike seems to stay pretty steady whether it's hot or the track's cooler, and maybe the other guys in cooler conditions can really take advantage of the extra grip. And you know, I'm hoping, I've been working really hard on my fitness the last couple years, so and I live where it's humid, so I'm hoping that that's gonna play into effect, because tomorrow's gonna be a tough day. You know, 2 24-lap races around here is not gonna be a walk in the park, and I'm hoping that and I know those other guys work hard as well, but I'm hoping my fitness comes into play a little bit.
So for those guys that are out there that are saying, yeah, you know, I can do that, or they're out there doing the club racing and things of that nature like that, give them an idea what your training regime is like.
Well, I mean, basically it's a job to me, is, you know, training and staying fit, and you know, every single day I'm doing something to work on my fitness, whether it's riding a dirt bike, or, you know, riding XR100s or flat track, and, you know, going on bicycle rides, and not just bicycle rides, but going on bicycle rides with people who are better than me, you know, and they're not fun. You know, you suffer through it, and some people say, oh, you get to ride your motorcycle every day, that's so great. It's really not that fun every single day, because I'm not out there joyriding. You know, I'm out there doing, you know, let's say last Saturday at the motocross track, me, Jake, and JD Beach is from Owensboro. We did a 30-minute moto straight, 15-minute break, 30-minute moto. You know, that wasn't necessarily, there was nothing about it that was really fun, and, you know, that's what it takes at this level, because I know Josh Hayes, he trains hard, and then, you know, it's what separates, you'll see tomorrow who's fit and who's not, and, you know, it's not just I get to ride and, you know, work out every day. It's not for fun. I take it serious. I do it as a job, and, you know, I got a training schedule. Everything I put into my body, you know, is for my fitness and things like that. So it's not, a lot of people look at it and say, oh, you get to ride every day, it's great. It's not always. I'm blessed to do what I do, don't get me wrong, because I love it, but it's not just going out and joyriding. You know, we're going there trying to get better at our fitness and riding, and, you know, being consistent for 30 minutes.
So a lot of people out there think there's some genetic complement in that with Tommy and Nikki out there. Do you think you guys are naturals? Do you think you all just worked hard to get where you are?
No, definitely, you know, the Lord has blessed me with a lot of talent for sure, and I am grateful for that. But at the same time, you know, maybe that's why my career is still going at my age, you know, at 32, and I'm getting better because I'm talented and I work hard, and maybe that's why, you know, we've been pretty successful, because we're not just talented and don't work, or not talented and, you know, really work. I think we have it both, and that's what I really try to work with you know, Jake, my teammate, lives with me, and it's really good for me as well, because he's getting really close to me on the bicycle and at home. And, you know, always, I think one thing that helps having brothers is they always want to stay ahead of me, and I always just dying to beat them at the house, you know. So you always have somebody getting you out of your comfort zone.
So when you're not training and you're not racing, what do you do for fun? What's fun for Roger Hayden?
Well, for me, I'm pretty much a Kentucky boy. You know, I like to go hunting. I enjoy fishing, and you know, probably the funnest thing for me to do is when I hang out with my nieces. You know, Tommy's got 3 girls that live at home. One of them's racing go-karts, and the 11-year-old, and I'm usually going over there on Saturday night washing her tires, because they wash them after every session, and, you know, just being around the family, and you know, that's pretty much like what I enjoy to do. And you know, this off season we go to Florida with, you know, with the family and things like that. So I just enjoy being with my family, especially watching my nieces grow up and being part of their life is, really is what I enjoy.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people out there that really root for you. I mean, and it's not like people are rooting against, Cam or Josh or anything, but they want to see that competition. And you're that guy, obviously, out there that a lot of people look at, hey, push it, Roger. We expect you to be able to beat these guys, and so they're rooting for you. And I know a lot of people are. So we wish you the best of luck tomorrow. We look forward to watch you racing, and hopefully we'll see you on the top step.
All right, thanks. And yeah, I do appreciate. I do have a lot of support from a lot of fans and stuff. And I think one reason I interact with them, like on Twitter and stuff, I'm a huge Chicago Bears fan, and so usually on Sunday, a lot of fans are giving me grief about my Bears, and I'm cool with it, and I give it right back to them. So I think they realize I'm just a normal guy like them, and they can give me a hard time just because they're a fan. I don't take it personal, and I enjoy it.
Well, very good, Roger. So much. We appreciate you spending some time with us, and we wish you best of luck. And we look forward to seeing you. We know we're going to see you on the top step, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Okay, hey folks, welcome back to the DawgHouse. It's especially a treat for me. I don't want to make the poor guy sitting next to me feel too old and everything, but I've been a fan of the Texas Tornado for some time.
Hey, you didn't say anything about the DawgHouse.
That's right. That's right. You're in the DawgHouse.
DawgHouse. Damn, I'm always in the DawgHouse with my wife. It seems like.
Well, you're back. So, we're lucky enough that we had Colin to spend some time to sit and talk to us, because he's got a bunch of responsibilities here now as a spokesman for Moto America, and we were just talking before we came on here about, well, how's retirement? It turns out he's not so retired after all.
Yeah, I mean it's busy. I mean, if I knew retirement was going to be this busy, I probably would have kept racing. Between testing, Yamaha, Michelin, the Moto America, do some BT Sport commentating also. I'm leaving all month of July, going to do the R1M track days over in Europe. Texas Tornado Boot Camp, obviously, still running it, and coaching my son's Little League baseball team. So, yeah, wide open.
Well, how did you manage to fit a racing career in as well? Because you've had your boot camp going on for a long time, and obviously you always wonder. You keep a lot of things going on, and now this Moto America thing's a new thing, but you've always had a lot going on. So, but you don't miss the actual competition of the racing. I mean, you don't miss that at all.
Man, my first race, I think I was 4 years old. So, I mean, I had 36 years of doing it, and no, I do not miss it. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine sitting right here, and I still get to go ride one of the best bikes in the world, an M1 with seamless gear. It's the same as what Valentino and Jorge ride, and testing the Michelin tires. So I still get to get my rocks off occasionally, doing that, my adrenaline, whatever you need. But no, I don't miss the competition part.
So you're obviously you're doing a lot more on the media side of things now. You've always been comfortable, obviously, in front of the camera. You've probably done a bazillion interviews over the years, and everything. But now you have this kind of unique, you are that in front of the camera face of Moto America, which is kind of cool, because we always thought, well, that's great. You got Wayne Rainey. Here's this guy, three-time Moto GP 500 champion. You've had your championships as well in the past and everything. You Colin Evers, you get a big face that everybody knows in front of Moto America and thinks is great. But now you're sort of this media guy on top of everything else. How's that feel?
That is what it is. I mean, they knew when they hired me they know who I am. So, hell, my wife, she's been trying to change me for 25 years, and so obviously I'm just who I am, and I've always related that, I feel like, to the public. They know pretty easy and pretty quick who I am, not trying to hide a card up my sleeve or anything like that. So I think it's pretty easy as long as you just be yourself, and I'm proud of the Moto America thing, what Wayne and Richard Moore, these guys are doing. It's awesome, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. How you thought the series was going. One of the things we were really looking forward to on this weekend was watching the RC Cup. We're looking forward to that. That's really a cool thing. You spend a lot of time talking to these young kids, and that's probably kind of cool for you because you were in the sport for so long. You were one of those young kids at one point. I really look forward to that. How are you seeing that? That's one of the things I think a lot of people are really looking forward to.
Well, I mean, honestly, I was so pissed off at Road America because I went there and I was just chomping at the bit to watch these KTM kids get out there and start battling. And I was on the ground at Road America for probably 20 hours. I had to jump back on a plane, fly to Australia, and go test for 2 days. So I missed the racing. Heard about it. I hadn't seen any video of it. But no, I'm really excited this weekend to watch them go around. The question you had is, yes, I was there at one time. I think back in '91, or they called it the Future Stars. And we traveled to Willow, and we did all that and rode Atlanta. And there are future stars, and just these guys need some face time. And me and Jonathan run around with the iPhone, at Road America, and made a little video, and just getting these guys pumped up and get them into it.
Are you helping them out?
I want to do a boot camp. I'd like to do a boot camp to where just all the kids in the KTM Cup are invited, and I'm trying to get it funded a way that nobody has to pay anything. I don't lose any money. But if we can get it funded to where everybody gets fed, gasoline, as far as bunk and all that, that's no cost. I own the place. So, but no, I mean, if we could get it funded, that would be fantastic. At the end of the year, get all these kids there.
Well, great. I just want to say, we think you're a great addition to the series, and really glad to see you here, and really happy for you. Sorry to see you're so busy, or happy. I guess it all depends on your point of view. But again, Colin, thanks so much. Good luck to you in the series. We're really looking forward to it.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'll be here.